Yes. Good morning, students. Today we're going to see a topic. The topic is array implementation of stack and the applications of stack. Okay. So last class we saw about the stack introduction. Okay, what is the meaning of stack ADT, and we saw the operations of stack. Fine. So today we'll be seeing only the array implementation and any of an application of a stack. So we have two ways of implementing our stack. One, I'll be using an array, and another way I'll be using a linked list. Fine. So here it's an array implementation. So you know how to create an array. So I just gave it as int a of 10. Okay, so I'll be creating an array. Okay, the memory size will be 10. So you know the array will be, the indexing starts from 0 until your array size -1. So 0 to 9 will be the memory. Fine. So now I'm going to show you the how we are going to use this as a stack. Fine. So my step one is, you can see I have made an yellow color in the array. One second. Okay, so I'll make this as a stack. Okay, so I'll be putting the values one by one. Okay, I'll be having top as an index variable, so it's keep on changing. Okay, I'm taking a full array. Fine. So till the values, I'll be considering that as a stack. Fine. So you can see an exam, you can see a term here, int a of 10, and I'm having an empty stack. Okay, so what's the meaning of empty stack here actually? So when my top value becomes -1, okay, I'll call this as empty stack. Okay, so the top is pointing to an imaginary term here, so I'll call this as an -1. Okay, if that condition is top is equal to -1, then I'll call my stack is going to be empty. I'm not going to have any value inside my stack. So I'm just giving you a little bit, not a pure code. It's somewhat like a pseudocode. Fine. So after taking my top as -1, initializing it, I'm going to perform my push operation here. Okay, so since I'm going to have a push operation, I have to give it as push of x. Okay, and this is what the code for pushing the values. Okay, if you want to push the values, what happens automatically? I have to move from top, my top value will be changed, so I have to increment my top value to here, so I gave it as top +1. Okay, so if I want to put the value, I have to give it as a of top of x. Okay, so x is the value I'm going to put inside this particular index. Since my top is going to be 0 now, so a of 0 will be holding some value. Fine. So for example, I'm going to push an value called as push of 2. Okay, so what happens here, the first my top gets incremented. Okay, and that particular indexing, I'm storing the value 2, I'm putting the value 2. Fine. So next up, now I'm going to push another value called as 10, push of 10. The same process. Again, my value, my top gets incremented, and I'm assigning my value to the particular index value. Okay, you can see like a stack. My elements are over up or above and above actually. So after 2, my 10 has been added, my top value keep on increasing. Okay, assume I may have some default value or a garbage value inside this all this memory. Okay, so I'm just putting 2 and I'm pushing the 10 value. So now my top value is going to be 10 now. Fine. The same process, I'm trying to push one more element, push of 5. So automatically what happens, it comes above the 10. Okay, so I'm assuming an array like a stack, and I'm just putting the values inside my stack. Okay, so now, so till now we have seen how this push has been worked. Now we will see how the pop is going to work. So if I'm going to give a pop, so for pop, what I have to do is I have to just decrement your top. That is more than enough. Okay, so pop of top is equal to top -1. So what happens now, I'll be decrementing the top. So top -1 is just decrementing the top. So now my top will be pointing to the 10. Okay, so when I'm going to apply pop off, no need to mention the values here, just a pop off is enough. Okay, that will just decrements the top value. Okay, now my stack will be this yellow line will be the stack. Okay, so here this 5 will not be removed. Okay, when I'm going to push some other element, this 5 will be overwritten. It's some like garbage value now. Okay, you can see the next one, push of 7. So what happens here, just the 5 will be overwritten by 7. Okay, the push operation happens again, my top incremented, and the particular index value I am putting this 7. Fine. So this is what this push and the pop coding part. Fine. So next we have a condition called as overflow condition in our array. Okay, so when this condition happens is when I'm going to enter all the values inside my array. Okay, it's going to reach a maximum size. Okay, then an overflow condition occurs. Okay, here I can have a size a of 10. Okay, when the top reaches 9, obviously after 9 I'll be having an overflow condition. I can't able to add more element because I have fixed my size as a of 10. Okay, so what to do to overcome this problem is I can just give an larger size of array. Okay, but that also doesn't suit, so we'll go for a linked list implementation. Okay, so it's the only drawback in the array implementation of stack will be the overflow condition. So the array size has to be larger for larger programs. Okay, if you don't want to use this array at all, I will go for my linked list concept. Fine. So next one is top. Okay, so we saw two operations, the push and the pop, and my next operation is top off. Okay, so what this top off will do, it will be returning the value which is going to be pointed. Okay, so a of top, a of top will be giving a value called as 7 for me, because the top is pointing to the value 7. Fine. So and next one is whether I have to check and another operation called as is empty or not. Okay, so we have a code for this. So when I will say it's going to be an empty, if my top value is -1, I will tell my stack is empty. That is what I given an if condition. If my top is equal to -1, then return true or else return false. Okay, so I have taken 4 operations here. Fine. So I initialized my array. Okay, and I have declared my array, and I initialized my top value. I performed the push operation, pop operation, and top as well as my is empty off. Okay, it's not in a what to say, it's not in a Paka code. Okay, we will try to change this particular logic into a programming. Okay, so now I'm going to the same concept array implementation. Yeah, I'm going to write in a C language. Fine. So whatever language you can take, I am taking here a C language to implement the stack using the array. Fine. So you know what is this hash include stdio.h. Fine. So here what I'm doing is I'm making the global variables. Okay, so these two are my global variables. Okay, I'm making globally my array size, and my top is equal to -1. Okay, here I'm using a macro here. Okay, hash define max size, I'm making it as 101. Fine. And now I'm performing the push operation. This push was somewhat exact like this particular coding. So what I'm doing here, I'm just incrementing the top. Okay, and then I'm just putting the values inside this particular top value. Fine. So before pushing the value, I have to check one thing, so whether my whether it's empty or something. So we have to check for a condition. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an if condition here. You can see I'm just inserting an if condition here. So if top is equal to maximum size -1. Okay, so I'm checking an overflow condition here. Okay, if it is like this, I'll be having an overflow condition, and just I'll be returning from there. Otherwise, I can just increment the top and put the values. I'm writing in a single step. So I'm making a pre-increment. So my top will be incremented first, and the values will be assigned next. Okay, so inside the push, I'm checking for an overflow condition. Okay, if it is an overflow, what happens? I'll just skip this if I'll be returning something. Okay, just comes out actually. Okay, if I don't have an overflow, what happens? This particular operation performs. Fine. So next one is my pop. You know what to do for the pop. I'll just decrement the values. Okay, you can see the pop here, void pop off. Okay, top minus minus. Okay, just decrementing the point top index. So automatically what happens, that element will be there, but my top will be pointing to the another next value. Fine. So for pop also I'll be giving a condition. What condition is, I have to check whether I can able to, if it is empty or not. Okay, if I'm going to pop an empty stack, obviously I'll be having an error condition called as underflow. Okay, for overcoming this, I'm giving an if condition here. If my top is equal to -1, there is no element in the pop, and it will be returning. If there is some element, what happens is goes and decrements the top. Okay, under your push operation, I'm performing an overflow condition. That is what this. Okay, so under your pop operation, I'm checking for an underflow condition. Fine. And next one is I'm just returning the top value. If I want to return the top value, so I'll be returning a top value using this particular operation into top of. So return a of top. It's very simple. Fine. And next one is so these are the four main operations. I'm sorry, three main operations I've used: push, pop, and top. Fine. So I'm showing you the flow of execution of the program here. Fine. So before this code, I'll be having the global variable, my main. Before main, I'll be having my global variables. Fine. So next one is I need to print it. Okay. So now comes my main function. Fine. So inside the main, I'm going to perform so many push operations like push of 2. I'm just calling that function push of 2, push of 5, push of 10. So I'm going to have a sequence of calls. Okay, so now what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make a print as a separate function here. So void print off. Fine. So what this print will do actually, it will be using a for loop to get all this value from this stack, from I is equal to 0 to I is less than equal to top. Okay, it's going to iterate all the values from the stack till the top value actually, and print that particular value. For this I'm using a for loop. Okay, so what I will do is I will add this print near each operations. Okay, so once the operation has been performed, I need to print it. Okay, so now I'm going to change my code like this. You can see here I'm using a push of 2 and I'm printing it. After my push operation, after my push call, push function call, I have to print it. Okay, so I'm calling a print again here. Okay, for each and every operation, I'm after performing the operation, I need to print what has happened. Okay, so your output somewhat looks like this. Okay, you can see I'm pushing the first value 2, okay, then 5, and then 10. That is what happened. So I'm printing it. For printing purpose, I'm calling my print function. Okay, then I made a pop off, so obviously this 10 has been removed. Okay, and then I'm printing it. Okay, it's 2 and 5, and again I'm just trying to put another element called as 12, and 12 will be added here. Fine. So this is a way you'll be writing a code for a stack implementation using array actually. Okay, so I'll just recall it once again. Fine. So I'm having a code here. Fine, it's a C programming code. Okay, if what and all I want to declare it, I'm declaring it as a global way. Then I'm using a push operation. Okay, a pop and a top. Okay, inside the push I'll be having an overflow condition. Inside the pop I'll be having an underflow condition. Okay, this top keeps on giving me the current top value. Fine. So for printing it, again I'm using a print of function. Okay, I can't able to write each and every time inside the main, so I made it as a function itself. Okay, so after my each operation I'll be just giving this print. I'll be calling this print method. Fine. So that's all about the array implementation using the in stack actually. Okay, we saw the logic and we saw a pure code. Fine, in a C language. Fine. So next one is how to the applications. Fine. So next comes the applications of the stack. So here I have taken an application called as check for balanced parenthesis. We saw we'll be having some three applications we saw in the last class, like function call and recursion, and next one is the an undo editor, and third one is balancing the parenthesis. Okay, so today we will see this. Okay, how our stack is going to help for balancing the parenthesis. Okay, so where this balancing parenthesis comes is it comes under the compiler. Okay, when you're going to write a source code, okay, so the compiler is mainly responsible for checking the brackets, checking the errors. Okay, if there is an opening bracket, there should be a closing bracket. Fine. So for that, checking compiler will be doing. For that process, I'll be using this stack. Okay, here I'm using all the three types of brackets here: a normal bracket, we call it a curly bracket, and a square bracket. Okay, okay, you can see some, I'm using some of the expressions. Okay, so what this compiler will do, it just leaves off all the expressions. Okay, it's mainly going to check only the brackets. Fine. So here I'm having an expression. Yeah, I'm having an opening bracket as well as a closing brackets. It is balanced. Yeah, it is balanced. Okay, so here you can see I'm having a curly bracket. Again, I'm closing a curly bracket. Again, I'm having a normal bracket, and here it's opened and closed, and opened and closed. So again, it's going to be a balanced one. But if you're going to see the third example, I'm opening a curly bracket, but I'm not closing a curly bracket. So it does not have a balanced parenthesis. So it's going to give an answer no. As well as here also we can see I'm not having an open bracket here. Okay, so it's going to be no. Again, here I'm not using a closing bracket, it's going to be no. Okay, so we are going to check only the brackets, parentheses, okay, for balancing. Okay, we will see how to do this. Okay, so if you're going to take this expression, only the brackets will be considered, not your string or something will not be considered. Fine. Yeah, that is what. So how to overcome it is, we have so many ways. The first way we will be trying is to count the brackets. For example, if I'm going to have an curly bracket, so okay, I'll be how many opening bracket is equal to how many closing bracket. Okay, that is one method we can follow, but there are some issues in doing it. Okay, so what happened here is, see, I'm having two brackets here. Okay, if you're going to take this count concept, you can see both are going to have a, it's not an opening or closing. Okay, this bracket doesn't has an opening, this bracket doesn't has an closing, so it's going to be no. Okay, so I can't go for an approach called as count of opening and count of closing. Fine. So here I can say it's a balanced one. Okay, but you can see here actually I'm having a two open bracket, okay, and two close bracket. Okay, so the count of opening may be true here, but what happens, because you can see the order here. Okay, it's not in a proper way. If I'm going to open a bracket, I have to close it. Okay, so this is not a proper balancing, so this particular count of opening equal to count of closing fails. Okay, I'm for overcoming this, I'm using a concept called as last unclosed first closed. Okay, so the meaning for this is, for example, I'm having an example here. Okay, so my first bracket, I'm opening the first bracket. Okay, and another bracket has been opened. Okay, so I'm using a close here. Okay, so last unclosed will be first closed. Okay, again I'm having another bracket, so last unclosed will be first closed. Okay, and for this bracket I'm just closing it. Okay, so your balancing parenthesis doesn't suit this particular concept. Counting of opening equal to counting of closing will not be working in all the expressions, so I'll go for this particular way of using it. Okay, so what I'm unclosing last will be closed first. Okay, you'll see some examples for this so that it will make you more clear. Yeah, So I have a solution for it. So how to find it? Okay, so solution is always I have to scan from the left to the right. I'm scanning from left to the right. Okay, if there is an opening symbol, okay, add it to the list. Okay, if there is a closing symbol, remove the last opening symbol in the list, and should end with an empty list. Okay, we will see how it goes on. See, if I'm going to scan from the left to right. Okay, I will draw a stack better. Mm, Fine, I'll draw a stack here. Okay, assume it's going to be a stack. Fine, so I'm going to take the first one. So I'm just putting the bracket here. Okay, if there is an opening symbol, add it to a list. Okay, I'm just putting a list here, or a list or a stack. Okay, and next I'm taking the next one. Again it's also an opening symbol, so I'm going to add it. Okay, you can see next one is my closing symbol. Okay, if there is a closing symbol, what I should do actually, I should remove the last opening also. Okay, so my next one is going to be the closing symbol. So what I will do, I will remove this also from there. Okay, so what happens, this comes out. Okay, now this I'll call this as a balanced parenthesis. Okay, and my next one is again I'm having an opening symbol put inside the list. Okay, now I'm identifying an closing symbol. What I will do, I will take this from my stack. Okay, now this will be an another balanced bracket, so I won't be having this. Okay, and the last one is my square bracket. Okay, I'm having this. Okay, since it's going to be a closing symbol, I have to take my remove the last opening symbol from the list, so this will be removed from your list. Okay, now my stack will become an empty one. Okay, this shows you that this expression is an balanced parenthesis expression. Okay, so how to do is, obviously I'll be using a stack. Fine, so here I can say if the opening symbol push into the stack, I'm just changing the words, push to the stack. If it's a closing symbol, just pop from the stack, pop from the stack. Yes, fine. Okay, so you will see one more example here. Okay, here I'm writing a pseudocode for the particular problem. Okay, so this purely goes for your stack implementation. So I'm balancing the brackets in a compiler code. Okay, using a stack, only using this stack. Okay, I'm just showing you the pseudocode of this particular concept. You can see I'm iterating from I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Okay, if we have an expression, it starts from 0 to n minus 1, and I'm having an if condition here. Here the if condition tells you like if expression of I is okay. So in my expression, if I'm going to have a normal bracket, a curly bracket, or a square bracket, I have to make a push operation. Fine, next, if not, else if my expression is having a closed bracket, all the three types of closed brackets, then I have to, what I have to do it actually. Okay, I'm having an if condition inside this else if. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm checking for whether my stack is empty. Okay, or my top does not pair with the expression. Okay, so if does not pair, what I will do, I will just return the false. I will tell this expression is not a balance, I can't able to balance, it's not a balanced expression. Okay, if this particular if condition is false, I'll just go and just pop out the bracket, my closed bracket. Okay, then I'll be returning it's empty. This returning empty is going to have a true or false, that's it. Fine, I'll have an example here. This is what my example, I'm taking an expression, just two brackets. Okay, so here my I will start from here, I is equal to 0. Okay, what happens actually? So since it's an closing bracket, it's an yeah, it's a closing bracket. I will go and check here. It gets inside your else if. Okay, so stack is empty. Yeah, the stack is empty. Okay, the top does not pair with exp. Yeah, does not pair. We don't have anything. Okay, so obviously what happens? Returns me the false. Okay, so what's the meaning of this? Before closing, there should be an opening. If not, it be returning a false one. Fine. So I'll go for another example also. Another expression, the same pseudocode is here. The expression is, you can see the expression here. I'm trying to put each and every bracket inside the stack. Okay, I'll take the first bracket. It gets inside your for loop. Here, for this particular term, my I will be 0. Yes. Okay, so if expression of I, fine, so it belongs to an open bracket, so push this bracket, so I'm push this bracket here. Okay, then again I'm having a normal bracket, again it's an open bracket, I'm performing a push operation. Okay, when my I is equal to 2, what happens? I'm having a closed bracket. Okay, so it gets inside your else part because it belongs to this particular bracket. Okay, now I will check if it is empty. Yeah, my stack is not empty. Okay, here I'm having an or operation. You know what this or will do? Okay, so here I'm having my top does not pair with exp of I. Okay, so here this is a bracket what I'm having actually, and this is what the bracket I'm going to put it. Okay, they doesn't pair at all. Fine, so it's returning me answer called as false. Fine, so this tells you that this expression is not a proper balanced expression. Fine, the next example, the same pseudocode with another example I've taken. By seeing itself, you can see it's a balanced expression. Okay, here I'll try to put, since I'm having first two and is my open bracket, I'll just pop it inside this stack. Okay, when I go for the third one, that is what my I is equal to 2, it goes inside my else part. Okay, is my stack is empty? No, my stack is not empty. We can see the next condition, top does not pair with exp, but here the value will be this, right? Okay, so it's going to be pair. So what happens? The pop operation will be performed, so it's just removed from there. Okay, as well as the same thing will be done here also. Again, I'll be having a bracket. Okay, and again I'm trying to put this, obviously it's going to be paired. Again, a pop operation will be performed. Okay, and lastly trying to put this closed bracket here. You can see the top will be moved automatically for each and every time, and since this is again is going to be paired, I'll be performing a pop operation. Okay, now my stack will be an empty stack. Okay, which is going to return a true. Okay, this tells you this expression is a paka expression, paka balancing expression. Fine, so this is how this checking the balancing parenthesis works for using our stack concept. Okay, so I'm not writing the code for you, I gave you the concept how it goes and the pseudocode for it. Okay, you guys just try how to make this pseudocode into a pure programming language in either C or C++, your wish. Okay. Yeah, it's now question and an answer session. Fine. Do you have any doubts till now, students? You can just ask me. If you don't have doubts, I will just go for this. Mm, no messages, no chats. No doubts, ma'am. Okay, fine. So I'll no doubts. Okay, thank you then. Fine. I'll go for the next concept. It's your time to give the answer for me. Just read the first question. Which of the following is not an inherent application of stack? Can you give me the answer for the first one? Yeah, you can just unmute your mic and you can just speak it out. Can you give me the answer?
There are only one answer, Geetarani ma'am.
Yeah, got it, ma'am. Sujita, it's
Yes.
D, job scheduling. Yeah, it's a correct answer. Okay, so job scheduling won't be following this stack concept. So reversing a string, we'll be using a stack. So since we want to reverse a string, so it goes for a stack concept. And evaluating expression, your postfix expression, and implementing a recursion. Your function call and recursion also holds the stack concept. Okay, so which is the odd one here? It will be the job scheduling. Fine. So good, Sujita. Fine. So what is the next one? Can you give me the answer for the next one? I'm performing a push as well as a top. So I need. So what will be the output for it? What is the result of the following operation? Yeah, I got many answers. Yay, and someone. Yeah, the answer is good, guys. Good try. So the answer is going to be the first one. Okay, so push s of x. S is going to be the stack, and x is going to be the element what I'm going to push. Okay, so top of x gives me the value actually. So it's going to be x. Fine. So in your last question for you, it's a code. I'm just asking you the conditions. Here I'm using struct. Okay, like this also you can implement our stack. Yeah, I got so many answers. Super, the answer is correct. So the option is going to be B, and the answer is going to be 9. Okay, since I'm having a array size of 10, so you know the array starts from 0, so 0 to 9. Okay, so the maximum value top which does not cause a stack overflow will be the 9. Okay, after 9 there will be an overflow condition. Fine. So that's it. That's all for today's class. Thank you, students. So I have a quick recap what we saw today. So we saw the array implementation of stack. We saw a perfect C program for writing the array implementation. Okay, you can just try the programs at in your home. Okay, try to write the operations separately, and you can try to just club all the operations into a single program. Fine. And we saw an application called as balancing the brackets which holds the stack application. Fine. So I have given only the pseudocode for you. This also you can try to convert the pseudocode into a C program. Okay, give a try. Fine. That's all. Thank you all. You can have, if you have any doubts, you can just ask me in chat. Just ma'am.